Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just click the link in the show description to support now.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
They win the final game 5-2 to remain the baseball champions of the world. The Yankees, with this 9-0 crusher, have won their 17th World Series.
The Yankees again are world champions.
The Yankees win their 21st World Series.
The Yankees are champions of baseball.
Ball game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
The Yankees are back on top. World champions for the 27th time.
All right, welcome back to the Chase for 28 podcast. This is episode 90. My name is Chris, and I am joined, as always, by the podcast Padre. What's going on, Pop?
I feel like I'm in Back to the Future.
So,
well, people don't know what's been happening here.
Yes. So, listener, we are in some sort of time warp. We've been having some technological issues here trying to record this episode, but here we are in our third attempt to record this podcast, and come hell or high water, we are going to fight through. Hopefully, the Yankees fight through, because they got a lot of obstacles in their way as well.
Yes. It's hard, like things are popping into my mind to say right now, and I'm like, wait a minute, I said that already. Oh no, wait, that podcast is never going to be heard.
How have you been as we get ready to start another season of the Chase for 28?
All right. Well, I will repeat one of the things I know I said. The last time we recorded, we left off like, okay, the next time we do this, let's wait for something big to happen. You know, let's let them get when's that trade coming for the second baseman or the third baseman? You know, then we'll have something really good to talk about going into spring training. And neither one of those things ever happened. We've got some retreads at third base, and the only thing that happened is, injuries are going to happen during the season. Who knew they'd happen all within the first 2-3 weeks of spring training? Stanton never got going. Cole's out. Pitches are hurt. Whose calf hurts? Whose pinky hurts? I don't know. But isn't it a good thing we never traded Stroman?
It is a very good thing that the Yankees weren't quick to dispose of him, because they need him. I mean, if we look at this Yankee pitching staff in terms of starting pitchers, we need guys to step up. And guys had to step up last year when Garrett Cole was on the IL for the first 2 months of the year. Now, they're not going to see him again until this time. Well, sorry, no. They're not going to see him until like the middle of 2026.
Actually, now, if you read the report on his, I was surprised how quickly he had the Tommy John surgery. Usually it's like, they wait like 2 weeks. He had it like within 3 days. But I read today, now, the terminology I'm not going to get right, but basically they did the repair on him. That's like the shortcut procedure, that there's another pitcher that had the same thing done last year at this time, and he came back to spring training. He was ready to throw. He was doing everything. I can't remember who the pitcher was, but he's out, not because of the shoulder or anything, but he pulled a hamstring. So Cole got that surgery. So theoretically, Cole could be at spring training next year. He might not be ready to go on, day one, but he'll be there, and it's not, we're not going to have to wait till the middle of next summer. He'll be back early on.
Good.
So that's good news, but that's next year.
Fingers crossed that he makes a speedy recovery and that this quicker procedure went well. So I guess the full thing is Tommy John. This was just Tom John surgery. TJ. He had TJ surgery. So Cole, we're not going to really talk about him because he's going to be out of sight, out of mind. Although it would be nice to see him. He's always pretty active in the dugout during games when he's not pitching. So I hope he stays around the team.
Well, they mentioned that like last year, the first half of the season, he was still there. He was giving advice to pitchers, and he was in the clubhouse. I would tend to think he'll be doing the same thing now. A tiger doesn't change his stripes. If that's the kind of person he is, he'll be there. He'll be part of it. And what I guess we don't remember is that with him not pitching the beginning of last season, that let Heel become a starter.
Well, just so happens Heel is also on the shelf right now.
Yeah. He's got the same thing that Clark Schmidt had, that he was out for 3 months.
Yeah. Clark Schmidt is healthy for all intents and purposes.
Yeah. But luckily, last year it happened to Schmidt after the season had started that he was out for 3 months.
Yeah.
This would Heel. It happened like right away, the beginning of spring training. So if it's 3 months, that's February, March, April. So he should be throwing. Maybe we see him back by the middle end of May.
That would be good. But I'm looking here. We just said before we hit record for the first, second, and now the third time that Carlos Rodon has been named the opening day starter. I'm going to be honest. That doesn't make me feel good about getting a win on opening day against the Brewers.
Well, again, there were times last year where he was the pitcher that they thought they signed, the free agent pitcher. And I think we got that pitcher more often than bad Carlos Rodon that we had almost all the time this first year. So it's a case of, hopefully, who knows what was wrong that first year? Did he come out of shape? Was it jitters and he just never found the groove? And then last year, what is it? He won 16 games last year? With any kind of luck last year, where he just went through that one bad spurt, he could have been a 20-game winner last year. And if you suck, you're not a 20-game winner. You can't win 20 games on luck. You got to have some skill. So hopefully that's the Rodon we see.
Hopefully. When we're looking at this Yankee rotation, and I guess that's where we can really start here as we get 2025 underway, we're looking at Rodon, Max Fried, who has looked good in his 2 spring training starts. Again, doesn't really mean much, but again, Max Fried is a professional pitcher.
Yeah. So you figure, well, actually, when you look at it now, it's what? It's Rodon, Fried, Schmidt,
Stroman. And I'm looking here. There was a piece here in Sports Illustrated talking about the possibility of Will Warren maybe earning that 5th spot.
I would think he's the leading contender. He's in Heel spot that Heel was in last year.
Yeah. The Yankees also do have the non-roster invitee who is there on a minor league deal, Carlos Carrasco.
Good. Leave him there.
There you go.
I'd rather see Heel came through last year. So you've got that in your mind, like, hey, we gave the rookie a shot. He won Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Let's see if lightning could strike twice.
That would be nice.
I'd rather see them go with that, with some, I feel bad saying this, with some 38, 39-year-old guy.
But yeah, Warren here in the spring, and again, what do the numbers, he's trying to win a job. So that he is working, right?
Yeah.
So far this spring, he has pitched 7 2/3 innings in 3 appearances. 2 of them were starts. Wait, hold on. Nope. Those are Carrasco's numbers. Warren has tossed 11 2/3 innings in 3 starts.
Okay.
His spring ERA is 1.5, 12 strikeouts, and he made his major league debut last year where he did struggle.
Yes. Yeah. I think his ERA was 10 point something.
Yeah. And that was 5 starts in 22 2/3 innings. So he's got a chip on his shoulder, it looks like. So,
yeah, he's got some new pitch too that he's been throwing.
Yeah. I'll be honest, when so many Yankee fans, and you, the listener, might be included in this, maybe your hopes aren't as high on the season. But when you look at the American League, there is no clear-cut favorite. Really, the only thing I think we can say about the American League in 2025 is the only team that's eliminated right now is probably the White Sox. Everybody else in the American League has the potential to be a playoff team. So there's no runaway favorite.
Yeah, they were talking about how the Yankees were the favorite. All right, so now they lost Stanton, they lost Cole, they lost Heel. So, as they say on the radio, they went from being the favorite to being one of the top teams.
Yeah. And what has seemed like over the last decade, the Yankees, and you see it all across Major League Baseball, teams are content with just getting into the playoffs and rolling the dice.
Yeah, you want to be the hot team then.
You look at the Diamondbacks from 2 years ago. Nobody thought they were going to the World Series, right? You got to get in. You don't need to win 105 games and dominate what so many people complain is a meaningless regular season until you get to the playoffs. Yeah, get to the playoffs.
You just gotta get in.
Survive the gauntlet of the regular season.
You could throw the Mets into that too last year. They just made it in, and they almost got to the World Series.
Yes.
So, like I said, you just got to get there.
Be one of those. Be a playoff team. So I certainly think the Yankees can do that. Now, we'll certainly put together a more detailed season preview, but the American League East is not going to be a cakewalk division.
No.
Boston will be vastly improved. I don't think you can ever really count out Tampa Bay.
No. Baltimore, I don't know. They lost Santander. He went to Toronto.
But, they still have a lot of young players.
Yeah, that's their thing. They have a good, you got to admit it, they have a good young team.
And if Toronto ever puts 2 and 2 together, they might get 4. But when you convert it to Canadian, who knows what happens?
Well, that's the problem. As they say, nobody wants to go play in Canada.
Yeah.
Because like, what was that? Soto in his last little interview hinted that the Mets weren't the highest bidder, and they were saying maybe it was Toronto, but...
Hold on. Let me just say, I heard that report. There is no way that there was another team that offered him more money and he didn't take every last penny.
Yeah, I
if
know.
If the Blue Jays offered him $1 more than the Mets, he'd be in Toronto. So I don't trust him as far as I could throw him.
Well, because now I think that's the Yankee fan feeling about Soto. You're a money grubbing fill in the blank.
Hey, I still have May 17th circled, or whatever that first series with the Mets is, which I may find myself at. There's a buddy I teach with. He's a big Met fan, and he's having a birthday. I think he's turning a significant number. I won't say it because one, I don't know it, but he was thinking of putting together a bunch of guys and go to the Met Yankee game, which would be that first series.
The man's going to be booed.
Oh, I can't wait. But let's not make it about that. We've all got the date circled, and we want him to embarrass himself. Maybe take a ball off the head in right field, because he won't be the best right fielder in the stadium that day.
No. Well, I mean, supposedly, what didn't he get a Gold Glove last year?
I don't think so.
But he was close or whatnot. I mean, people were like, "Gee, he's playing better than we thought." My impression, and I know I said this on one of the podcasts,
he was a Gold Glove finalist as a right fielder.
If there was a ball hit behind him to the wall,
forget it.
He shied away from it. He didn't go get it.
No.
If it was to the side, fine. He ran, he went and got it. If it was in front of him, he ran, he got it. But if it was hit hard and he had to run back to the wall, no. And in Citi Field, there's a little bit more room going to be behind him. So when a ball is hit back there, I don't know what's going to go on with him. There's a lot more area back there. But let the Met podcast worry about him.
There you go. And actually, he has never won a Gold Glove in his career.
Yeah, that I know. That I know.
All right.
But again, circle the date in May, and we shall see. Time will tell.
Yes.
Time will tell.
So other things I'm excited about in terms of Yankee pitching, very excited about Devin Williams.
Yes. I think our bullpen is fine.
Oh, I think we've got to have one of the top bullpens in all of baseball.
Yeah, the bullpen is fine. Lasagna's in the oven cooking. So,
I mean, we still have, okay, so here's our bullpen. Still got Efros, Ian Hamilton, Tim Hill, Mark Leiter Jr., Loizaga coming back, and you got Luke Weaver and the newly acquired Devin Williams to close things out. So depending on who's in the 8th, who's in the 9th, I think it's going to be solid if we get into bullpen games.
Yeah, we're fine. It's just, and I think we're good. I think we're good with the four starters. It's just going to be a question of how does, why is his name out of my mind? The one we just talking about, the rookie.
Warren.
Oh, don't get old.
Warren.
Warren, does he feel, now, is he going to come in and be like Heel last year and no, he's going to win Rookie of the Year? He doesn't have to do that. He has to be, what's the word? Serviceable. That's
effective. He has to be an effective starter.
Give us six, give us 6-7 innings, keep us in games. That's all we want.
Yeah. Give us innings and pitch well.
Yeah.
Don't be, pitching 4 and 5 innings and giving up 5-6 runs every time you come out on the mound.
Yeah. Yeah, no, then you'll be in the minor leagues and Carrasco will be called up.
Yes.
Unless they just release him, because at his age, does he want to stay in the minor leagues?
No, probably not.
Probably not. He'll go bye-bye.
Yeah.
But then what's the other? Next man up if he can't make it. But again, time will tell.
Yes.
I wish they had done something. I mean, third base. Can you believe what's going on with third base?
It is. We got a platoon situation.
I mean, look, is anybody more unlucky than DJ LeMahieu?
Let's put it this way. I need to apologize because when we go back to when he signed that contract.
Oh, I remember what you said.
I said, hey, he doesn't need to go out and win batting titles. He doesn't need to hit 340 and 330. Just go out and hit 310. And I don't think he's hit above 300 since.
No, he has not. He has not. You were the kiss of death on him.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think between him and Stanton, if Dr. Frankenstein walked in, he couldn't put together a body from them two.
No. And, I mean, it is sad, but DJ LeMahieu is not a Major League Baseball player anymore.
No. It's like he turns around. I mean, they're alike. They're almost the same person. They move and they pull something. Like now, his feet were okay. And was it like the first, second day of spring training? He's running, he pulls a calf. And that's 3 weeks. Now, maybe it happens when you get older, but I never remember doing anything growing up, playing where, I pulled muscles, you pulled muscles. I never remember anything where, well, guys, I pulled my muscle. I'm going to stay home for a month because I pulled a muscle. I can't do anything now. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I also don't get it. Again, I have pulled muscles, whether, pull a hamstring playing softball, and I'm back out there in 2 weeks. But again, Sunday old man arc pitch softball is not at the same level of intensity.
Yeah, but you hit the ball and you still run, right?
Well, I mean, am I running? I mean, I'm moving.
Yeah, I don't get it. I really don't. They get these injuries and you don't see them. It's I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know that Babe Ruth was ever on the injured list. Beer, hot dogs, cigars.
Well, Lou Gehrig wasn't. Lou Gehrig played with broken fingers.
That's how you get the streak.
I don't know.
But I mean, we're looking at this infield. So we got Paul Goldschmidt, who is going to be playing first base in 2025.
I think he'll have a good season.
I think so too.
He's going to give us more than Rizzo did.
Again, just be serviceable. Play defense and hit the ball, right? Nothing is going to replace the offense that Soto gave us. So if Judge starts to get any type of streak going and goes on one of these tears, if he's having an MVP caliber season, he's going to get walked 200 times this year.
Now, I want to ask you a question.
Fire away.
How much do you think Soto batting in front of Judge helped Judge have the season he had last year? The man batting in front of you is having a good year. How much does that help you batting after him?
I think that does help because think of how many times he came up, Judge, with somebody on base, right? Isn't that the whole thing? You don't want to pitch to Judge with men on base. And you had a guy who was getting on base, was more than happy to draw the walk. And now you got Soto on first, Judge coming up.
So who's going to provide that now?
Nobody.
They
have nobody
second.
in the lineup that can protect him that way.
Ooh, what do you think about, what is it now? They're talking about maybe Wells leading off and Judge batting second.
Wells is not a leadoff hitter.
Yeah, I know. I'm surprised when I see that. I mean, he's hit a couple of home runs to lead off games in spring training, but
that means nothing.
I know it. I don't know if I want him being my leadoff hitter.
Wells,
again,
okay, whoever is hitting in front of him, let's say you're going to bat Judge second, and you got Wells who hits a bunch of leadoff home runs. Okay, now you have Judge coming up with nobody on base.
Nobody on base.
Yeah, we have a run, but it's as if we got the out because what protection does a leadoff home run give Judge?
Yeah. Have they totally given up on Volpe?
I think so. As a leadoff hitter?
You think it's psychological with him? Because he was doing so well last year and then they moved him to the leadoff spot and he fell in a well.
Yeah.
Do you think it's just leadoff? Like he puts pressure on himself?
I think anybody who goes into certain spots in the lineup, there are different pressures.
He made the improvement. What is he? He went from 209 to 240 something. And the 240 something last year was a disappointment because he had been up around 270, 275.
Yeah.
But as they say, when he's hot, he's hot. And when he's cold, he's cold. But, okay, so he don't lead off, but he's got to get his average. He's got to get back up to that 270, 275. He's got to make that improvement.
Yeah, in 2023, he batted 209, and last year he finished at 243.
Yeah, he's got to get up to that 270 mark. But again, do you make Jazz Chisholm lead off?
I don't think he's a leadoff hitter either.
Yeah, I don't think he's again, like everybody says, like, what's the typical leadoff hitter? But again, remember, you only lead off once.
No, you're right.
After that first inning, you're not the leadoff hitter anymore. But again, you're the leadoff hitter with respect to I'm setting up the rest of my team.
Yeah.
Now the good batters are coming up. I'm not batting seventh where the eighth and ninth batter are coming up. Now it's going to be the second, third, and fourth, the cream of my lineup. So if anything, I'm not a leadoff hitter. Yeah, I got another word. I'm a table setter.
Yeah. And speaking of guys, I did see, I don't know if you saw this, that they're talking about Ben Rice being the DH.
Yeah.
Now, the way I look at it, you don't have Stanton, who can really only be a DH when he's quote-unquote healthy and active. Why do they have to designate a roster spot for a guy who's going to be a DH?
Yeah, I don't understand that. Stanton had to be a DH. That's all he could do. I mean, the man's lucky he could stand up.
Right. I wouldn't carry somebody in the lineup who you probably only want to put at DH, unless you're looking at Ben Rice as a guy who can be the backup first baseman, because he played first base last year, but he's also caught a little bit this spring as well. So does that give them flexibility to have somebody who can also catch? Are you gonna carry JC Escara as the official backup catcher?
Do you need the two of them then? Do you need two official catchers and another guy who can catch and play first base? Do you need that?
I don't know.
That's for them. But again, if you don't have them, let's say they don't take Rice, then who else do you take on the roster? Because I agree with you. I don't want somebody who is just a DH. It takes up a roster spot. Unless it's going to be somebody who hits 35 to 40 home runs, knocks in, 85 to 110 RBIs, that really contributes and whatnot. That guy could be my DH.
And what you just described in terms of stats, that's not even Stanton right now.
Oh, no, it never was. Stanton never hit 280 for the Yankees, and if he did, it's long gone. I forgot about it. I should tell all the listeners, you missed take two where I went off on Stanton.
Hold on. Let me give you his... So, he first come to the Yankees in 2016. He hit 266.
216? No.
266.
No, not 2016. He wasn't a Yankee
I said
then.
2018. He hit 266.
Okay.
2019, 288. 2020, 250.
Wait. I got a question for you though. Before you keep going, that 288. How many games did he play that year?
That was in 2019. He played in 18 games.
I knew it. I knew there was something there.
So let's look at, okay, his best batting average with the Yankees playing, let's say more than 120. I can't even say that. Let's say more than 100 games. We'll just have to say more than 100
with the Yankees.
I don't have, you're asking for too much. His best, 2021, he hit 273. He played 139 games.
Okay, that's his high point. That's his high watermark.
That's his best average playing what we would say is a full season, full slate of games that were possible.
Yep, and I think his best was like 38 home runs or something like that?
His best...
Might have been that year?
That year he hit 35 home runs. That's his...
Okay.
In 2018 he hit 38 home runs.
Okay, all right.
But that was a year after he hit 59.
Yeah, I thought we got him and he fell apart.
Yeah.
It's amazing. The career he had with Miami... And then he played right field every day. There was no DH in the National League.
Right.
The man was on the field every day. I'll tell you, Jeter was with the Marlins. Jeter pulled a fast one on us.
Yeah. That was a salary dump.
Yeah. Well, they still pay, what, 10 million of his salary every year.
Yeah. Maybe they could buy him some new elbows.
Yeah. Well, I told you, I don't know. You don't want to eat that salary. It's still on your books. You don't want to eat it. You don't want to just like cut somebody like that. And like even with LeMahieu, I think he gets 16 million a year, something like that. And LeMahieu gave the Yankees a discount.
Yes, he did.
But again, I mean, isn't his contract still for 2 more years after this one? Right, you're the fast one.
I'm looking up his contract. Hold on. Let's see. He signed next year is his last year. So he is signed through 2026.
Yeah, because
this was $15 million a year each year. So 15 this year, 15 next year. Next year he'll be 37.
Yeah, because he won the batting title the COVID year.
Yeah,
that was his last year on his 2-year contract, and then he signed this contract, and he has not been the same since.
Yeah, and I attribute it to the injuries.
Not in the beginning. That first year in after COVID 2021, there was no injury then. The injuries came a little bit later, like the last. It was a 6-year contract?
Yeah.
I think his first 2 years, there were no injuries.
Well, okay. So in 2021, he played in 150 games and he batted 268.
That was the year after the batting title.
Yeah.
There was no injury that year.
In 2022, he played in 125 games. He hit 261, 243. And then last year, he 204, 67 games. So yeah, it's my fault. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you jinxed the poor man.
I did.
You jinxed him. You jinxed Rizzo.
Yeah, in 2019, which was his first year with the Yankees, played in 145 games and he batted 327.
Yeah. Yeah, that 2-year contract he signed. He was great those 2 years.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. His feet went on him.
So sad.
His toe and whatnot, I guess. You break your toe, it totally affected his swing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if and when we see him. I mean, maybe they think if they get something from him, okay, we could put him at third base sometimes. He could be a right-handed first baseman sometimes.
He could play first. He can play third. I don't think they're ever going to put him at second base because
I think his second base days are over.
Yeah. All right.
No, the other is going to be Cabrera and I think it's got to be Peraza.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I don't know why they buried Peraza the last couple of years at AAA. So I'm glad he's going to get the opportunity here and, always play the hot hand, whether it's him or Cabrera.
I mean, with him, you could put him third, short, or second.
Versatility will keep you in the majors.
Yeah. And with Cabrera, you could do, and Cabrera now after the World Series, you could put him at first base too.
He can play third. He can play first. He can play left. He can play right.
Yeah. I think the only thing he can't do is catch and play center.
And pitch.
You never know.
Did you know that Aaron Judge pitched in college? Or pitched in high school? Sorry, pitched in high school.
That had to be scary.
Yeah, I saw. I'll text you a picture of him on the mound.
Yeah, that had to be real scary.
Yeah.
That'd be like facing Randy Johnson.
He's tall. Couple things that I do want to hit on. I don't know if I sent you this picture, but a couple things we didn't talk about. One, congratulations to CC Sabathia on becoming a Hall of Famer.
Yes, CC, yep.
Since last we spoke. You're not on Twitter or X, as they say, but when the news came out that Gerrit Cole was going to have the Tommy John, or that it was up in the air, he tweeted a picture of the old Ben Affleck Batman looking at the Batsuit from Justice League or something.
Yeah.
And people were like, really? We could, okay. Is there something there? So CC's not coming out of retirement prior to getting into the Hall of Fame, but it was a funny tweet.
Is Patty coming back?
I saw a picture of, again, Pettit was a guest instructor here in spring training. It was a picture of him, Roger Clemens, before Gerrit Cole got hurt, Gerrit Cole, free. So it was like all like the current pictures with those two guys mixed in. And they look like
you couldn't tell.
You couldn't tell. Loosen them up. So congratulations to CC Sabathia. A couple of things have changed off the field with the Yankees. Want to get your take. Number one, and yeah, you're making the right gesture. Number one, the facial hair policy of the New York Yankees is no more. Your thoughts, Padre?
If you see, I don't have a problem with it if you keep things trimmed.
But okay, so you've been a Yankee fan the whole time that this thing had been in place since George bought the team and put it in place.
Bought the team. Here's you signed your contract. Here's your razors. Yep.
Yes. So did you ever think it was a bad policy? Did it ever bother you that was something that the Yankees asked the players to do?
Nope. Never bothered me.
I'll be honest. I am annoyed that they got rid of the policy because, again, it's something that made them different. And I don't think over the years it deterred people from coming to the Yankees. They signed Johnny Damon that he looked like the Geico caveman.
No, Johnny Damon looked like Jesus Christ.
In Johnny We Trusted, but he cut his hair. Giambi, haircut. The poor guy, Devin Williams, who they just traded for, shaved his, what you would consider to be a well-kept beard. And then a week later, no more policy. I think it takes a little bit of the glitter away from the Yankee organization. And I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother me if you keep it like well-groomed. If you got like a big scraggly beard, no.
And that's what they're saying you can't have. It's got to be well-kept.
Well kept. Give it that. Here, like I should be the model for the team. This is what they should have.
That is not really well-kept. It's kind of scraggly.
What you talking about, Willis?
I'm hiding behind a microphone. I got to shave myself. The other off the field, on the field thing is, again, there was no press conference about this, although they did have a 30-minute press conference about the beard policy. That was a joke. The Yankees will no longer play New York after they lose at home. They will, they've announced that there will be a rotation of other music that they will play if they lose at home.
When did they stop with Sinatra was when they won, and then it was Liza Minnelli singing it when they lost. When did that stop? I don't even know.
I don't remember when they stopped playing that when they lost. I feel like that was like a 1990s thing.
Yeah.
And then it just became all about playing Frank Sinatra.
Turn the TV off.
Right. But it always struck me as weird going to games over the years where if they lost, they played Frank. But I think that kind of maybe made the crowd feel good on the way out the door. Because we've all been there. We've sung it. We've danced. We've kicked out, So
I'm going to be honest with you. On things I'm going to be worried about and thinking about with the Yankees, the song they play at the end of the game is the farthest thing from my mind.
There you go.
I don't care what they play.
All right.
Considering I'm trying to get in my car and beat the traffic, so.
That's true. That is true. Although next time we go to a game, I want to do I think we might do the train thing. That was really fun when I went to the World Series game. Taking the path from Hoboken and then getting on the train from Penn Station and taking it to the stadium. It was a really nice, it was fun. And I'm sure you took the subway as a kid many times. That was the only way you could get there.
I'm not going to tell you what I used to pay. Well, I told you growing up, I used to go to 30, 35 games a year. So that's going to tell you every time I went to a game, that was the tokens to get to and from Yankee Stadium. It was $1.50 to sit in the grandstand out in right field. I bought the tokens or whatever they were to go there and come back. I'd stop at the bread store and get a nice little Italian hero salami and provolone sandwich, and I'd buy a soda when I got there. I did the whole thing for like $5.
I hate you.
That's why I went. So when I tell you I went to 35 games, I did the whole thing for like $150. $150 gives me a seat up in heaven now.
And you still got to pay for parking.
And you still got to pay for parking.
And the food.
Yep. Oh, and if you drive, that congestion pricing, watch how you drive.
I don't think that's near Yankee Stadium.
No, it's not near Yankee Stadium, but it depends on how you get there. Like, oh, maybe I'll drive through Manhattan. No, you
won't. So if we get to a game, I would definitely want to explore the train thing. It was a really smooth process. So, yeah. Anything else you want to talk about before we get back into the routine? And we'll be back probably in a couple of weeks. Season preview.
Well, 2 weeks for opening day. The roster will be final by then.
Yeah. Today, again, we're recording this on March 14th. Opening day is March 27th at home against the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about the game where Nestor Cortez pitches.
Okay. Well, then I think we will come back next week on the 21st, which will, again, we're going to still release our episodes on Saturday mornings. So we'll come back next week with our season preview, and then I guess we're back week to week.
Now you better do that, or else cousin Jim may send some nasty text messages.
Shout out to the podcast Cousini. Now leave us the hell alone. You got your episode. Shut the hell up. And we'll bring him back on this year too. AJ, I spoke to AJ. AJ is excited to hopefully get on a few episodes and not just show back up in October like the Great Pumpkin. Shout out to you there, podcast Paisan. But yeah, we're back.
Is it true you could only get on this podcast if you could think up a name for somebody?
I could think up a name for everybody. So everybody's a podcast something.
Podcast something, yeah.
Although I myself don't have a nickname. Be quiet. All right.
We got names for you. Don't worry about it.
All right, listener, if you want to give me a nickname, send them in. All right. Send me nickname ideas. Because that's going to do it for this episode of the Chase for 28 podcast. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you enjoyed the rest of spring training. We will be back. We're back on a weekly basis now. Next week, we'll have our 2025 season preview. We'll listen to the Padre embarrass himself and pick the Cincinnati Reds to do something significant in 2025.
Hey, have you seen that?
Here's what I will say. Terry Francona did not come out of retirement to rebuild the Cincinnati Reds. That man is there to win. So I won't be upset with you if you were to pick the Cincinnati Reds to be meaningful in 2025. Because they got Tito at the helm.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. All right. We do want to hear from you. We are on Twix. We are at Chase for 28 pod. We do have the Instagram going. We are at Chase for 28 pod on Instagram. And of course, you can leave us a voicemail. Send us your questions, comments. Go to chasefor28.com/voicemail. And of course, we want you to support the show. Please tell a fellow Yankee fan about the podcast. Word of mouth goes a long way to help us reach new listeners. And if you want to support the show, you could also go to chasefor28.com/merch. And we got some t-shirts and swag available for some players for the podcast. And of course, thank you to SeatGeek, back again in 2025. It's the easiest way to buy tickets for sporting events, concerts, and more. Visit chasefor28.com/SeatGeek and use our promo code CHASE428 at checkout, and you get $20 off your first purchase. Thank you for listening. We'll be back in a week on the Chase for 28 podcast. Padre, say goodbye.
Goodbye.